Namaste. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Welcome to the 4th Gita Jayanti celebrations from our team Param Vedanta. On this day of Margashira Shukla Ekadashi, approximately 5,150 plus years ago, these words of priceless wisdom were uttered in the midst of an ongoing battle. A battle of a different sort continues in each of our minds, irrespective of religion and nationality, even today, across the globe. Naturally, the words of Sri Krishna become a divine song, for he is also a musician per se, evoking melody from his humble flute. The hollow bamboo reed with 7 apertures, which signify our Panchajnanendriya, Manas and Buddhi, are windows to the world. If we don't learn the technique of playing the flute, discordant notes emerge, much similar to life when we can't cope up or manage situations and issues. Bhagavad Gita imparts the knowledge to empty our ego, our desire, and negativity to bring out the music and harmony from within. Ushering in this spirit of music, I invite Srimati Pannaga to render the invocation Achyutashtakam. Ratham sthapaya me Achyuta, said Arjuna in the very first chapter, calling Krishna as Achyuta, Nachutaha, the infallible one or the one who never falls or who never fails us. This hymn by Adi Shankaracharya is in a very special chandas called Sragvini Chandas. Every 3 letters become one part, and we get such a beautiful meter out of this. Over to you, Pannaga. This song is a musician's delight.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Atha Achyutashtakam Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishnadamodaram Vasudevam Harim Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandram Bhaje. Achyutam Keshavam Satyabhamamadhavam Madhavam Sridharam Radhika Radhitam Indira Mandiram Chetasa Sundaram Devaki Nandanam Nandajam Sandadhe. Vishnave Jishnave Shankhine Chakrine Rukmini Ragine Janaki Janaye Vallavi Vallabhayarchitayatmane Kamsavidvamsine Vamshine Te Namaha. Krishna Govinda He Rama Narayana Shripate Vasudeva Jita Srinidhe Achyutananta He Madhava Dhokshaj Dwaraka Nayaka Draupadi Rakshaka. Rakshasakshobhitah Sitaya Shobhito Dandakaranyabhu Punyata Karanah Lakshmanenanvito Vanarai Sevito Gastya Sampujito Raghava Patuma. Dhenukarištako ništakridvešinam keshiha kamsahridvamshika vadakah putana kopakah surajakhelano balagopalakah patumam sarvada. विद्युद्योतवत् प्रस्फुरद्वाससं प्रावृढं बोधवत् प्रुल्लसद्विग्रहं वन्यया मालया शोभितोरस्थलं लोहिताङ्घ्रिद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे कुञ्चितैर्कुन्तलैर्भ्राजमानाननं रत्नमौलिं लसत्कुण्डलं गण्डयोः हारकेयूरकं कङ्कणप्रोज्ज्वलं किङ्किणीमञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे अच्युतस्याष्टकं यः पठेदिष्टदं प्रेमतः प्रत्यहं पूरुषसस्पृहं वृत्ततः सुन्दरं कर्तृविश्वम्भरस्तस्य वश्यो हरिर्जायते सत्वरं तस्य वश्यो हरिर्जायते सत्वरम् इति श्रीशङ्कराचार्य विरचित अच्युताष्टकं सम्पूर्णं हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्
Thank you, Pannaga, for the melodious invocation. The Palashruti of this hymn says, this Achyutashtaka, which beautifully encircles Vrittata Sundaram, all the sustaining beings with his various names and forms and qualities, such a person, by the will of Hari, will reach the abode of Hari, Kartra Vishwambaram. Isn't that our longing? Isn't our meaning and purpose to have Purushottama Prapti? Swami Paramarthanandaji, during his explanation of the 15th chapter, says, we are all afflicted by Bhavaroga, the samsara roga, and the treatment for that is Jnanam, a course in Jnanam. And we have Dr. Sundar, a surgeon par excellence, to help us diagnose the Bhavaroga, and he will lay out the treatment plan of understanding the Nirguna Brahma Swarupa, which is a panacea for all kinds of suffering. Over to you, Dr. Sundar.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A warm Gita Jayanti greetings of this year to all the viewers. Hidden towards the later part, after about 3/4 of the Gita verses are over, are a set of chapters which deal with the essence of the Upanishads. The 13th, 14th, and 15th chapters take slightly different route to reveal the singular reality Advaitam, which also goes by other names like Ekam, Advitiyam, Kaivalyam, Sakshi Chaitanyam, Brahman, Atman, or Purushottama. We start with this last verse of the 15th chapter, where this knowledge of Purushottama has already been imparted by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Glorifying this knowledge, Lord Krishna is suggesting that this chapter is Guhyatamam Shastram. The word Guhyatamam has occurred several times in the Gita, but the interesting thing is Lord Krishna calls this chapter as Shastram itself, giving due importance to this. And Adi Shankaracharya in his Bhashyam justifies by telling that this chapter is complete and contains the entire essence of the Gita. Etad Buddhva, Lord Krishna is telling, may you know this knowledge, Nirguna Rupena, Aparoksha Jnana Rupena. And if you know this knowledge in this manner, you will become Buddhiman, you will become wise, you will become Jnani, you will become enlightened. Krita Krityaha, you will become totally fulfilled. So this will now kindle our curiosity to know what this Jnanam is in this chapter. Then we go to the preceding verse where he is giving the phalam of this knowledge as a person who is sarvavit, who is omniscient, and who has this ability of being able to worship God as sarva bhava. At every moment, wherever he goes, he is able to perceive this Purushottama in a 24/7 manner. So what then is the mystery? the secret Shastra in this chapter, which makes one enlightened, totally fulfilled, all knowing, and having God vision 24/7. So we see this conversation, most of us know, and this is what was probably meant by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa when he says, I see him as clearly as I see you, which is the Purushottama Drishti. So this kindles interest to know what is the teaching in this chapter. So before we go to who is Purushottama, where is he, and how to attain to Purushottama, let us understand this comprehensive coverage of whatever exists today, before, and future by Lord Krishna in this chapter. So he divides the entire creation into Akshara Purusha, which is unmanifest matter, and Kshara Purusha, which is manifest matter. So cyclically, creation is changing between these two entities. He also brings in Uttama Purusha. Does this mean that there are three realities? Are they mutually exclusive? These words in the 17th and 18th chapter, we see that Uttama Purusha Avishya Bhibharati. See, Uttama Purusha pervades Akshara and Shara Purusha. He sustains them. And he is Atita and Uttama. These words indicate that the Uttama Purusha is unlike no other. So we shall focus on these words and see that Uttama Purusha pervades and sustains the Kshara and Akshara Purusha. We can say that the Uttama Purusha is immanent. He is in and through the Kshara and the Akshara, which are the manifest and the unmanifest universe. He is inseparably intimate to Kshara and Akshara. Does that mean that he is like the table on which the book is kept? No. He is unlike no other, I said earlier, and this we should understand by the words in the next 18th shloka there, Atitaha and Uttamaha. He is immanent, agreed. He is in and through. He is inseparably intimate to everything in this creation. But then he is transcendent also. He is not affected in whatsoever manner by the Kshara and Akshara Purusha. How can we understand this? How can an entity be immanent, so intimate, and yet be transcendent, unaffected in whatsoever manner? There are examples given by Shastras in our day-to-day experience. When we say that water is inseparably intimate with the wave, it is in and through the wave, we understand it readily. And then when we say that the water is transcendent, it is in whatsoever manner unaffected by the wave, we can still relate to it, because after all, water alone there is no wave in reality. Wave is a lower order of existence. It is kevala nama rupa matra. So from this example, we have to understand that Uttama Purusha alone is, that is the singular reality, that is, it is the Paramarthika Satyam. So the Kshara and Akshara Purusha, they are mere Nama Rupa Matra. They are there, but they cannot be counted. Uttama Purusha in this chapter, when you reverse the word, you get Purushottama. Purushottama, therefore, is that singular reality who is in and through, inseparable from everything else, and yet he transcends them because he alone is. So with this understanding, let us try to understand the knowledge that Lord Krishna is imparting. So having known that Uttama Purusha, who alone is, all of us are interested to know where to know this one. So we said that Uttama Purusha alone is, and everything else is name and form. So we can understand that Uttama Purusha or Purushottama alone is in the guise of Jiva, and he is alone in the guise of Jagat. All that variety, plurality we see is Purushottama alone, who is in the guise of all this. So we can take the sample of Jiva or Jagat as this chapter does. For this presentation, I shall take Uttama Purusha alone being in the guise of Jiva to understand. So this key verse, Lord Krishna categorically declares that he, as Purushottama as original consciousness manifests in each one of us jivas as RC, the reflected consciousness. The mind and this gross body both are jada or inert. Lord Krishna, Purushottama, original consciousness as Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, brings sentiency to the mind. And this sentient mind alone enlivens and makes the gross body sentient. The presence of these together makes the body sentient. At the time of death, when there is viyoga or separation between the Chidabhasa Sukshma Sharira on one side and Stula Sharira on the other side, it removes the sentiency of the gross body. And this is what we say the body has perished. With this understanding, these two, 9th and 10th key verse is a giveaway, a formula for us to have Purushottama Prapti. In this key 10th verse, Sthitham refers to birth and life, as we saw in the earlier slide. Chidabhasa, which is original consciousness, which is Purushottama, enlivens the mind and the body. Gunjanam, every singular experience that we go through in the verse 9, Shabda, Sparsha, so Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all the 5 experiences. The body is insentient, the mind is insentient. When I'm experiencing each one of this, it is because of Purushottama. Enlivened body presupposes an enlivened mind, which presupposes the Chidabhasa, which presupposes original consciousness. So through this chapter, the training, each time I go to the puja room and I hear the bell, is that I need to understand sentient body presupposes a sentient mind, Chidabhasa, and the Purushottama or original conscious. Similarly, when I see a deity, the same process happens. When I feel the arati, when it is given to me, when I feel it, sparsha again presupposes an enlivened body, presupposes an enlivened mind, presupposes a Chidabhasa and Purushottama. Similarly, when I have the prasad, I go through this sequence too. So each one of this, and again, when I have the fragrance of the agarbatti, the same thing, each of these sensory experience reveal Purushottama to us. The 10th verse has this word Gunanvitam. Having gone through these 5 experiences, there is a response from the body, which could be according to Guna Sattvika, Rajasic, or Tamasic. Each of this is again being blessed by Purushottama. Having this awareness was what was referred to as Pratibodha Viditam Matam in the Kino Upanishad. Having this awareness is prosperity, it is blessing. Not having this awareness is an adversity. Having this prosperity makes any adversity a prosperity. It can convert any adversity to prosperity. So, in conclusion, this dazzling 6th verse of the chapter presents Purushottama as that original consciousness within each of us, because of which everything else becomes revealed. And Krishna declares it here, Taddhama Paramam Mama. So this Purushottama is the true nature of Lord Krishna. It is the true nature of each one of us. And although the 3rd line says, Yadgatva na nivartante, there is no travel in space and time. Our true nature is one of already of Purushottama. We have several layers of ignorance which cover us. And Vedantic Sampradaya and Satsang like ours help us to uncover and discover the Purushottama which is already within us. So the takeaway message is, every time I come across an enlivened body, a living body, mine or anyone else, it presupposes a live mind, it presupposes Chidabhasa. Therefore, it reveals original consciousness or Purushottama. Every aspect of Jiva reveals the touch of Purushottama. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. From known to unknown is the path of Vedanta, path of any ancient Indian teaching. In fact, Sir did the same, that he took us through the various experiences of Shabdasparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, reminding us of the Purushottama and thereby coming on to the description of Nirguna Brahman, Nirguna Nirakara Brahman. Thank you very much for the definition of prosperity and adversity, which were extremely meaningful, sir. Thanks for bringing the Anivarchaniya to Vachana. Thank you. न तद् भास्यते सूर्यः न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. ಲೀಲಾ ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ ಮಾಧವನನ್ನು ನೆನೆಯಲು ಸಮಯ ಬೇಕೆ? ನಿಂತಾಗ, ಕುಳಿತಾಗ, ಜೀವನದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುಹೋಗುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನನ್ನು ನೆನೆಯಲು ದಾಸವರೇಣ್ಯ ಪುರಂದರದಾಸರು ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಕೇಳುವ ಈ ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ರಚಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸುಮಾರು 4,75,000 ದೇವರ ನಾಮಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರು ರಚಿಸಿರಬಹುದೆಂದು ಒಂದು ಅಂದಾಜಿದೆ. ಗೀತೆಯ ಸಾರವನ್ನು, ಜೀವನದ ರಸವನ್ನು ಸರ್ವರಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿಯುವಂತೆ ಸರಳ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಡಿದರು. ಈಸಬೇಕು, ಇದ್ದು ಜಯಿಸಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ಸಾರಿದರು. ಅದೇ ಅಲ್ಲವೇ ಅರ್ಜುನನಿಗೆ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೂಡ ಉಪದೇಶಿಸಿದ್ದು? ಯಾವ ಜಾತಿ, ಮತ, ಕುಲ, ವಂಶಗಳ ಎಣಿಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಗೃಹಸ್ಥಾಶ್ರಮಗಳ ಭೇದವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಅಧಿಕಾರವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಕೃಷ್ಣ ನಾಮದ ಬಲದಿಂದಲೇ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಯಾಗಬಹುದೆಂದು ಪುರಂದರರು ಹೀಗೆಂದರು. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ ಅನಂತ್ರವರು ಈ ಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ಹಾಡಲು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓವರ್ ಟು ಯು ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಸ್ಮಿತಾ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹಲ್ಯ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಕೃಷ್ಣನ ನೆನೆದರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಕೃಷ್ಣನ ನೆನೆದರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಮಲಗೆದ್ದು ಮೈ ಮುರಿ ಬೇಳುತ್ತಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಮಲಗೆದ್ದು ಮೈ ಮುರಿ ಬೇಳುತ್ತಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಸುಳಿದಾಡುತ್ತ ಮನೆಯೊಳಗಾದರೂ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಸುಳಿದಾಡುತ್ತ ಮನೆಯೊಳಗಾದರೂ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಸ್ನಾನ ಪಾನ ಜಪ ತಪಗಳ ಮಾಡುತ್ತ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಸ್ನಾನ ಪಾನ ಜಪ ತಪಗಳ ಮಾಡುತ್ತ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಶಾಲ್ಯನ ಷಡರಸ ತಿಂದು ತೃಪ್ತನಾಗಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಶಾಲ್ಯನ ಷಡರಸ ತಿಂದು ತೃಪ್ತನಾಗಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಮೇಲೆ ತಪ್ಪಿ ಮಾತನಾಡುವಾಗಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ಮೇರೆ ತಪ್ಪಿ ಮಾತನಾಡುವಾಗಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ದಾರಿಯ ನಡೆಯುವ ಭಾರವ ಹೊರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ. ದಾರಿಯ ನಡೆಯುವಾಗ ಭಾರವ ಹೊರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಕಂದನ ಬಿಗಿದಪ್ಪೆ ಮುದ್ದಾಡುತ್ತಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಕಂದನ ಬಿಗಿದಪ್ಪೆ ಮುದ್ದಾಡುತ್ತಲೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಚಂದುಳ್ಳ ಹಾಸಿಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಳಿತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಚಂದುಳ್ಳ ಹಾಸಿಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಳಿತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ದುರಿತ ರಾಶಿಗಳನ್ನು ತರಿದು ಬೀಸಾಡುವ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ದುರಿತ ರಾಶಿಗಳನ್ನು ತರಿದು ಬೀಸಾಡುವ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಗರುಡ ವಾಹನ ಸೇರಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಗರುಡ ವಾಹನ ಸೇರಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ನರಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ. ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣಾಯನ ಬಾರದೆ.
ಹೌದೌದು.
Thank you so much, Smitaji. You have chosen the perfect song for this occasion. What greater prosperity than chant his name in every activity through the day? The next song we are going to listen to is Madhurashtakam. As the very name says, something very sweet, composed by the saint Sri Vallabhacharya, who lived in Kashi and traveled across the country, spreading his Pushti Marga or Bhakti Marga, which talks of unconditional love for Krishna, Krishna Bhakti, and Krishna Seva. Vallabhacharya was a contemporary of Sri Purandaradasa, and legend says that they both met in Krishna Devaraya's court. He has written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita on Shuddha Dvaita. He was the Samstapaka of Srinath Mandira at Govardhana. In fact, it is said that Madhurashtakam was composed when Vallabhacharya had the Swayam Darshana of Sri Krishna on the night of Shravana Shukla Ekadashi. This particular hymn is regarded to play an instrumental role in the realization of the deity and leads a seeker on the path of grace. Madhuradipate Rakilam Madhuram in the Totaka Chandas. Over to Srimati Aruna Raval for the rendition of this devotional hymn, Madhuradipate Rakilam Madhuram. Ma'am.
Hari Om. Adaram Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasitam Madhuram Hridayam Madhuram Gamanam Madhuram Madhuradipate Rakhilam Madhuram Vajanam Madhuram Charitam Madhuram Vasanam Madhuram Balitam Madhuram Charitam Madhuram Branitam Madhuram Madhuradipate Rakhilam Madhuram Venur Madhuro Renur Madhura Panir Madhuraha Pado Madhuro नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं करणं मधुरं तरुणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं रमणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा पीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गोपा मधुरा गो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम् अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
Shri
Thank
Krishna.
you very much, Aruna ma'am. That was a soulful rendition. The beauty of the lyrics would leave anyone to think about it and reflect on. Srishtir Madhura. Only someone who has enjoyed the whole process can write it as the entire Srishti, because of him, becomes so sweet. Have you ever imagined how this huge body of knowledge has been handed over to us since time antiquity? Whether it is the Purandara Kritis or it is the Vallabha Kritis, the Bhagavad Gita or the Mahabharata. They were all well crafted over the palm leaves, which are called manuscripts, or the Lipi, or the Hastaprati, as we call in Sanskrit. In fact, India obviously has the largest number of manuscripts in the whole world. With respect to Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita in particular, it is said 1259 varieties of manuscripts were compiled, each with its own Pathaveda, and they were critically edited by the scholars at the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, Pune, by scholars such as S.N. Belwalkar, R.N. Dandekar, S.K. De, and many others who took about 5 decades to complete this work, and the critical version of Bhagavad Gita was published in 1941 by Sri S.N. Belwalkar. What happened until then? It was kept absolutely intact by the Vangmaya tradition. In fact, Bhagavad Gita is an asset of the humanity, and youth have a lot to gain from it. Ullas, a bright young sadhaka, an ardent devotee of Bhagavad Gita, with his whole family, will now talk the walk. Ullas, we request you to talk about Bhagavad Gita for youth. Over to you.
Thank you, Ahilyaji. Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Let's imagine I'm a young person, 20 years old, 30 years old, 35, 40, 50. And I have so many things to do in my life. I have my work to attend to, I have my family, there are parents, there is friends, and there is so many things that I have to still achieve in my life. And then there come people who tell me that I should read Gita. It's very helpful and all. So sometimes a thought would come in such a person's mind, like, why should I worry about Gita? And that too now. I'm not a 70-year-old or an 80-year-old or a 90-year-old person who needs to read Gita. It is for the old people to do that. That's a genuine question that sometimes people do get that. And anyways, I don't have time for all this spiritual stuff right now. I have so many other priorities to take care of, as I said. And anyways, how is it going to help me achieve whatever I am set to do? Tomorrow I need a promotion, my school, my students, kids, my kids are students, they need to achieve good grades and all. How is this going to help? And I've also heard that it is very complex. There is like, a lot of shlokas are there. There's, I need to know chanting. I don't know. There is a red book which is always kept in the puja room and all. Perhaps it's quite dogmatic. And it was something like 5,000 years ago. What relevance it is for today? And many times, even if I get into all this, my friends and family will mock me, saying like, "Ye to sadhu ban gaya hai, what has happened to him? He's going to." So I don't want to get into all those things. And some people might even have an issue saying that, well, I'm not even a Hindu. This is not my religious book. Why should I read Gita? And even if I were to read it, I don't even know where to start, who to read, which book. There is n number of versions. There is a small version, large version. There are so many commentaries are there. What to do? I'm like totally confused. So because of that, I just leave it away. Well, here are a few things which I want to share is like why you want to read Gita, why you want to read it now, even if you are a youth, more importantly, actually, if you are a youth. Let's take an example. We buy a good appliance from the market. When is the good time to read the manual for that? This is a typical example all the teachers give. It is as soon as possible. If you know all the functions of a washing machine or of a car or of a microwave, it is good for you. Why would you want to use the appliance and 20 years later you want to read the manual for that? And Gita is the manual for human life, how you should live the life. That is the main purpose of that. What should be the vision? What should be the mindset? What should be the attitude towards life? That is what is being taught in Gita. And if you have already lived most of your productive life or most of your life, and then you want to learn how to live life, what is the point of that? It is at least better than not doing it at all. But while our bodies are strong, our minds are strong, it is a good time to actually go through it and then see how it is relevant for us. And the teachings are actually very much relevant for the modern times. If you really think what has really changed over in the last 5,000 years, if you will, the human mind is still there. We still get all restlessness, all disturbance, all dilemmas in my work life, in my personal life. All those things are still there. I still have desires which I need to always keep fulfilling. And once I fulfill a desire, another one pops up, another one pops up. It's a never-ending story. And that has not changed over times. And the other very important thing is that it is very universally applicable. It's not that only in the people in India or in Uttar Pradesh where the Ram Janma, whatever it is applicable across the age, across religion, across geographies, across genders, across profession, because it is not talking about all those things. They are just a level above that, but it is talking about a level below. Rather, the most in depth it is talking about at a human level, how and why and what I should do. It's very immensely helpful in terms of achieving all my material goals also. Even though it is not meant to achieve material goals, but as a side benefit, we do get to achieve material goals also. Ultimately, I get to achieve my spiritual goals. I am able to get the calmness of my mind and ultimately single pointedness to actually realize what the purpose of my life is, what's the real deal. And it, as I said, it offers practical solutions to day-to-day problems. We get into fights and altercations, and there is a lot of disturbance, jealousy, envy, and envy, it'll solve those things. So there is a lot of promise that is there in this text, like how Lord Krishna also talks about in Gita. First it gives like what is the benefit of that, and then we get into a little bit of what exactly it is. So hopefully now we have at least gotten to understand that it is relevant. It is relevant now. It is universally applicable to me, to my friends, to everybody I know, and to everybody. And it has nothing to do with any religion. It is not a Hindu text or any such thing. It is just how you should live. Now let's get to the we have already seen ki why should I read this text? But the question should be the other way around. Am I deserving even to read this text? There is a shloka in 7th chapter which says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin ma veti tatvata. There are thousands and thousands of people who don't even know about it. There's only very few who would strive for it, who will actually do some sadhana, who will actually understand and get to the final stage. So it's not that, well, I am now giving time to Gita. It is very, very rare. It is very, very fortunate for the people to actually come here. And this we can only find out once we are through it. If we sit outside the fence and then keep pondering over it, we may still feel like it is not very relevant. But once we get into it, then we realize, yes, we are actually the lucky ones. Only rare people get to learn about, because it talks about the highest learning. And as Dr. Sundar in the beginning mentioned, that it's a very, very secret, very, very rare. Guhya Tamam Shastra. There is nothing more secretive than this. And why it's the secret is not because nobody wants to tell anybody else, because it really needs some kind of qualifications to actually get to that. And it will give us the eternal peace, security, and happiness. Everything else will give us temporary relief. Nothing is going to give you whatever you can name on earth is going to, any material thing is going to give some temporary relief. But this book, if we are amongst those rare people, if we understand it, if we follow it, then we are actually going to get the real benefits which are eternally going to be there. In the next slide, now let's see what exactly are these teachings about. Now, every book has some central message, and then there are certain subsidiary messages also. So while I have been talking about a lot of things which are going to help me materially or practically in my life, they're kind of the side benefits. While they are also very important, perhaps they are the ones which will bring me to this book in the first place. And then I would realize, oh, there is a lot of treasure inside it, which was even some kind of an uncharted territory in terms of what I was even thinking that I should be able to get out of it. Most problems or all problems of humans are because of wrong identification. What I mean by that is, I only identify myself as this body, this mind, all these intellectual things that are there. I consider myself as them. Now, all the problems are because obviously body is going to face through many problems. Mind is going to go through all the problems. But if I identify myself with them, then I am going to have, then all those problems are mine. Once we go through these teachings, we would realize who I really am. Am I using this body mind, or am I the body mind? If I know that I am using this body mind as an instrument, like my car, like my spectacles, like my pen, then the problems of the pen or the car are not the problems of me. They are not my problems. They are just a problem of my pen. So once that right identification comes, all the other, it's not that the questions get solved or I get answers to all the questions. The questions themselves dissolve, because now my identification is not to the wrong thing. It is once I identify to the right thing, all the questions belonging to the wrong identification, they are no more meaningful. So that's a central message. Now we know, once we do that, we know the real purpose of life is like, I need to identify myself as the part of the bigger consciousness, the part of Krishna consciousness, or what have you. In the next slide, we see that at a more practical level, if I want to understand, because I am a youth, I have a lot of other priorities also, then how do I get to solve that? How am I able to solve my everyday problems or achieve my goals or get rid of all the bad situations? First of all, this whole setting is in a battlefield. It is not in some ashram or something, that it is just a dogmatic teaching in a didactic manner or something. It is very much happening in a battlefield. Isn't there a battlefield in our hearts, in our minds all the time, that whether I should do this or that? Always there is a decision making dilemma going on. And that is what is happening here also. And the different ways or different steps in which it is being told how should we achieve that goal of ours is, first do karma yoga. What is karma yoga? We do karma, we do action anyways. But always, if we are attached to the results of the action, we are feverish about them, then the whole journey of that action becomes very, very tiresome, very, very anxious, very, very. There is a lot of stress in that. But if I am detached from the results, I just do it as my duty, then it takes away all the anxiety. I'm not so much bothered now what my other colleague is, why they are getting promoted, I am not getting promoted. I am just doing my duty. I am trying to achieve the best results, but I'm not doing it for the results only. I'm enjoying the process. I am so that's where that shlok of karmanyavadikarasti. You are not even entitled to think about the results. Once this understanding settles into us, then all the job becomes so easy. Now we are able to maybe perform even more. And that's what people say, like now you can perform even 10 times more than that. So that will ultimately obviously get us more material and worldly achievements. But now I'm detached to all that. If it comes now, I am not even having any problem with the success or with failure. Gita also teaches us that we can become equanimous. We need to become equanimous. If it is success, it's fine. If it is failure, it is fine, because I am doing it as a duty. I'm not expecting anything out of that. Then the second stage is also dhyana yoga. Now, how do I get mindful? How do I meditate to become single pointedness, so that I can actually focus on any of my work? Now, once we get to that stage that I'm able to focus on any of my worldly work, this actually, all these stages prepare me for the jnana yoga, which is the third stage. Now, my chitta shuddhi, my mind is purified. Now, I'm actually able to concentrate on the real deal. Who am I? So, we have seen that all the previous stages are going to help me in the material gains anyways, which was perhaps the first thing we came here for. But once we are into this, once our mind is pure enough, then we realize, oh, there is more there, and then we are ready also for that. And then when the teacher says tattvamasi, that you are that, that is when we get to understand. So the message for you which I would like to say is that, well, so many people swear by it. What is the harm in just going through it once? Maybe there is something extraordinary about it. So I would urge everybody to actually look into it. And it might seem a daunting task that this is such a thick book. We just take some time, consistently follow little bit, and you experience for yourself. If it works for you, it works for you. Then there is no need for any blind faith. We need to have just open mind, do some self inquiry, do mananam chintana. All the doubts are welcome. If they are answered by the great teachers, most of the doubts that you would have, people have already had, and they've been answered. So it's worth going through. And as we talked about, there is a side benefit. Once I have that self discipline, it'll ensure my personal professional success. And then what should I study? There's a lot of videos on this channel itself, Paramvedanta. We can go through that. There's a lot of books, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Paramarthananda. Anybody you look at, the central teaching is same. And the whole thing is like we are already blessed. We just need to uncover that. So let's just stay blessed. Thank you. Hari Om.
We believe circumstances have changed from the Dwapara Yuga to now. But listening to Ullas, it would make anyone reflect on that thought. Has anything really changed at all? The same restlessness, worries, joys, and sorrows. Life seems to be in continuum. A manual before using the gadget. Gita as a manual for life. This one sentence sums it all up so eloquently. Thank you, Ullas. The clarity, the vision with which you spoke is testimony enough for the role of Bhagavad Gita in your own life. In fact, after listening to you, I would also want to say Krishna speaks of the importance of Sthita Prajna, a person with a steady mind, and says that such a man is an ideal, as he would be totally aligned to God to do his worldly activity without getting afflicted by the ups and downs, failures and success in life. So, a young person, a youth with sthita prajnata is the greatest asset a country can have, And if somebody could be detached from the fruits of action and yet work completely, that's the greatest asset of this Bharatavarsha. It is not for nothing that Shankaracharya said, Bhagavad Gita kinchida dita, Ganga jalalava kanika pita. For sukha here and after, both iha and para, taken care of through Bhagavad Gita. We move on to the next part of the program, which is a Kannada song, a Kannada Bhavagite composed by Avadhuta Bendre, whose poetry leaves the seams of the world, of this physical world, but it actually conveys something very different in its other sense, much beyond the physical. It talks upon the metaphysical. Sri Rohit Bhatta, a young talented singer, will bring to us this song of Bangara Tira Kadalache Iche. Over to you, Rohit.
ಹೊಸ ದೀಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟಾನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಹೊಸ ದೀಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟಾನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಕಡಲಾಚೆ ಗೀಚೆಗಿದ ನೀಲ ನೀಲ ತೀರ ಮಿಂಚು ಬಳಗ ತೆರೆ ತೆರೆಗಳಾಗಿ ಅಲೆಯುವುದು ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪೂರ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಊರು ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಊರು ತಮ್ಮ ಊರು ಧೀರ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗೆ ತಾವು ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಣ ದೂರ ತನ್ನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹರಿತದ ಭಾವ ಬೆರೆತದ ಜೀವದರೊಳಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಕರೆ ಬಂದಿ ತಣ್ಣ ತೆರೆ ಬಂದಿ ತಣ್ಣ ನೆರೆ ಬಂದಿ ತಣ್ಣ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಹರಿತದ ಭಾವ ಬೆರೆತದ ಜೀವದರೊಳಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಇದೆ ಸಮಯವಣ್ಣ ಇದೆ ಸಮಯ ತಮ್ಮ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದೆ ಸಮಯವಣ್ಣ ಇದೆ ಸಮಯ ತಮ್ಮ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಂಬಿಗನು ಬಂದ ನಂಬಿಗನು ಬಂದ ಬಂದಿತ ದಿವ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಂಡವರಿಗಷ್ಟೇ ತಿಳಿದದ ಇದರ ಬೆಲೆಯು ಇದು ಉಪ್ಪು ನೀರು ಕಡಲಲ್ಲೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಡಲಲ್ಲೋ ಇದರ ನೆಲೆಯು ಕಂಡವರಿಗಷ್ಟೇ ತಿಳಿದದ ಇದರ ಬೆಲೆಯು ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತ್ರ ಒಡೆಯುವುದು ಇದರ ಸೆಲೆಯು ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತ್ರ ಒಡೆಯುವುದು ಇದರ ಸೆಲೆಯು ಕಣ್ಣರಳಿದಾಗ ಕಣ್ಣೊರಳಿದಾಗ ಹೊಳೆಯುವುದು ಇದರ ಕಳೆಯು ಹೊಸ ದೀಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟಾನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅನ್ನದ ಅನ್ನದ ಹೊಸ ದೀಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟಾನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಬಂದದ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಂದವರ ನೆರೆಗೂ ಬಂದದೋ ಬಂದದ ನವಮನು ಬಂದ ಹೊಸ ದೀಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟಾನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ನವಮನು ಬಂದ ಹೊಸ ದೀಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟಾನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಅಂದದೋ ಅಂದದ ಬಂಗಾರ ನೀರ ಕಡಲಾಚೆ ಗೀಚೆಗಿದ್ ನೀಲ ನೀಲ ತೀರ ಮಿಂಚು ಬಳಗ ತೆರೆ ತೆರೆಗಳಾಗಿ ಅಲೆಯುವುದು ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪೂರ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಊರು ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಊರು ತಮ್ಮ ಊರು ತೀರ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗೆ ತಾವು ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಣ ದೂರ
Thank you, Rohit. We come to the end of this program. I would like to share with you all a poetry that I came across very recently, and I do not know the person who composed it, but it's beautiful. कान्हा की शान निराली है, वो दौड़े दौड़े आते हैं, जब कोई अर्थ पुकार करे निर्बल का बल बन जाते हैं। मुट्ठी पर तंडुल के बदले दो लोक सुधामा पाया था, अब की द्रौपदी की बारी थी, रो रो कर कृष्ण पुकारी थी। हो गए रास्ते बंद सभी, अब अंतिम राह मुरारी थी। होए कृष्ण कृपालु कृष्णा पर, होए कृष्ण कृपालु कृष्णा पर, माधव जो करुण पुकार सुनी। जहां कभी याज्ञसेनी ने नटवर को साड़ी का टुकड़ा बांधा था, बदले में आज मुरारी ने साड़ी में साड़ी नाजा था। श्री कृष्ण भाव के भूखे हैं, श्री कृष्ण भाव के भूखे हैं, भक्तों की श्रद्धा प्यारी है। ऋण चुकता करते ब्याज सहित, माधव की लीला न्यारी है। What better way to remember Krishna and his teaching, the Bhagavad Gita, for our lives? May Madhava's grace lead us to our destination. Thank you for being with us during this Gita Jayanti celebrations. I would like to bring to your kind notice that we have a special session tomorrow, that is the 23rd December, by our teacher, Dr. Timmappa Hegde, on Bhagavad Gita. And here are the bank details of the Param Vedanta group, and any contribution from your side is most welcome. With this, we end this special Gita Jayanti celebration. Thank you all for being with us. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.